Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to part 2. As always, if you haven't listened to part 1, do go back and that will help you to understand what the heck I'm talking about. So today is part 2. Yesterday, I felt like we set up the scenario of the goal of really spending some time in what the goal looks like once we've completed it. And I love that. I love being able to dream big and consider what's next and all of that. But in order to get there, you have to figure out where you are right now. Because unless you know where you are right now, it's going to be really difficult to track the journey. And as I always say, I am a very practical coach, and the easier I can make things for you, the better. I have no interest in taking people around the houses or making the process longer so they really feel every part of it. No, if I can shortcut it for you, if I can bring ease and flow and more enjoyment into it, I absolutely will. So, going back to what I was saying yesterday about this ideal suitcase scenario in Spain, I had to figure out where I was now. And that first sense of the goal has been from January. And it came because we went away between Christmas and New Year, and I had that familiar setting of the children having really lovely things, all washed and clean and ironed and smelling all nice. And I literally felt like I was just chucking things in at the last minute with no sense of what I had, what I needed. And I just felt like I was making do. So when I made the decision to do this for this summer, I had to look at where I was right now and be really honest about the fact that I wanted to change this. And so the temptation when we begin a goal can be to get stuck in where you are right now. So I could allow myself to go down some kind of path where I was saying to myself, oh, I'm not very good at packing. I can't do this. I've been in this situation for the last 7 years. Like, there's no point in changing it now. And I had to get clear about where I was right now and to know that this wasn't the truth of my potential. Again, I know I'm talking about something very shallow here, but it's a fundamental part of who I am. I want to feel good so I can do the things that I want to do. I want to create the memories. I want to make the money that I want to make. I want to travel to the places where I want to go to. I want to set up the charities that I want to do, etc., etc. So asking yourself where you are right now can sometimes be a painful process. And people will sometimes flippantly say things like, just start today, just make the decision. But sometimes that day or the beginning of that decision can come from a tricky place. So I would say if today is your day where you're starting to shuffle into the next chapter, go really gentle with yourself. Go really easy with yourself. I actually said this to my son last week. We'd had a few late nights and a lot going on, and it it felt like a really busy time. It'd been hot. I think they'd been snotty. And he woke up one day, and he is that child who bounces to school. He cannot wait to get in there. He loves it. So fingers crossed, long may that continue. But I could see on that particular day, he was really dragging his heels and everything just felt like a big effort. And he was just getting really grouchy and growly about things. And yeah, it was literally like looking in the mirror where I was like, yeah, that's how I feel sometimes, pal. I totally and utterly get that. And I said to him, please be really gentle with yourself today. Please drink lots of water today. Go slowly. Stop and pause and have a sit down on the bench if you need to. Make sure you eat your lunch. Make sure you just do what you need to do. And as I was saying it, I thought, gosh, how often do I actually say that to myself? And that's a really important note to take, even if you take nothing else from this process, is to be really gentle through the process. Because there is this assumption with change that somebody just makes a change and then they jump into the next scenario. Or that phrase, well, it's a sink or swim situation. Just because we say it in a jolly way doesn't mean that everybody's going to automatically swim. We need to be patient with ourselves. The next thing I noticed was, what are the pieces that are already there? So I started to look at my wardrobe, and my wardrobe was not working for me. Logistically, storage-wise, it was not working. And I know why that was, because when we moved into this house, for me, that first layer of sorting stuff out was to just find a home. And then I knew I wanted to get rid of the boxes. That was really key for me. I like to see floor space, and I like to feel space and movement within the house. And so I knew that I was making some decisions and I didn't really know what I needed to do and why. And so one day, and I don't know why, I think I just did it one morning. I think I was up early, Matt was away, the kids were asleep, and I just started to pull the things out the wardrobe, got everything out on the bed, and then put everything back neatly and really saw what I had. And there were a few surprises in there. There were a few, I've forgotten about that dress, or something that had been tucked in another coat hanger. And actually, when I looked, I was a bit further on than I thought, and I hadn't considered some of the things that I had, and I tried some things on, and some of the things now fit me again. Some of them definitely don't, so those have gone to the charity shop. And it was a really lovely process. So one of the goals that many clients come to me about is about growing their income and really making their personal brand work for them. And so that beginning stage of where am I now could be that situation for themselves of getting used to looking at their bank account, getting used to looking at their numbers, not having surprises. That is a state of financial acceptance and growth, by not being like, oh my God, where's that bill come from? Oh, I wasn't expecting that you're on top of things. And then again, noticing the pieces that are already there. Sometimes my clients are making more money than they thought. Or sometimes they've had scenarios in their business where they have made a lot of money in the past, or things have been smooth sailing. And just remembering that within this process is going to help you move forward. The third thing is, what haven't I considered yet? Now, this could be looking at different options, or this could be looking at different ways of doing things. So here's how I would typically shop in the past. I would, and nod along if you would agree, I would find it so overwhelming in shops that I would usually go into a shop and I would buy like one or two things, both of which were very similar to one or two things, or probably more, that I had in my wardrobe already. And these things were singular things, like a jumper, a top, a pair of jeans. And I wasn't really thinking about the whole picture. And I remember when I shot some headshots a few years ago, I said to myself, I am going to pick up everything that I like in the shop, and I'm going to try it all on, regardless of the price, regardless of whether I think that it will suit me or any of the other restrictions that I had in, or whether it's the right shape for me. Remember that in the 90s, you were an apple, an orange, a pear, or banana, whatever you were. But that was a big diet culture from the 90s that I've clearly just hung on to. And I decided to be experimental and try different things. And I surprised myself through that process of saying, gosh, I hadn't really thought about that colour on me before. I love that colour. Oh, I'm now going to give it a go. And so this could be a situation for your goals of really looking at a different process. So instead of trying to squeeze yourself into a process that everybody tells you to do or that you think you should do, this is your opportunity to try something different. The next thing I did was I started to track my process. So going away for a week, we're going away for 7 nights. One of those is the wedding. I've already got that outfit sorted, done. So potentially it's 6 other outfits. I mean, I could double up, but I prefer to wear something different because I don't want to do washing out there. And I am that person who really washes their clothes a lot. So I want 6 other different outfits. Already, as I was going through that process, I was like, right, that dress will work. That one will work. Oh, I could wear this. So at the moment, I would say I'm missing about 2 or 3 evening outfits. Great. I'm going to add those to my list. Done. And then really noticing what I've bought already. And I love it when I go into my wardrobe and I go, wow, that was maybe a pricey item at the time, but I've worn that so much, or I really enjoy wearing that. I've got this dress, which you may have seen on a picture at some point. It's like a peacock blue dress, and I've had it maybe, 10, 12 years. I wear it so often, not on a day-to-day basis, but I've worn it to so many weddings and events, and I absolutely love it. I love wearing this thing. And it felt really expensive at the time. It felt a bit risky, but I tell you what, cost per wear, it's been amazing. So really tracking your progress in terms of your goal. Instead of allowing yourself to second guess or estimate what you're doing, notice it, track it, write it down, write your progress down, and really notice how brilliantly or where you may need a bit of help and support going forward. Moving into help and support. We somehow feel that we are expected to do everything all of the time. And it's funny because there's somehow a bit of shame of asking for help or not being able to do all the things that we want to do with no outside intervention. And I have, for the first time, really gone back to people who know what they're talking about, because I am not a fashion expert. I'm not a clothes expert. So I've started to get inspired again and look online and see what people are wearing and actually click the icons of the brands that are tagged and then go on their website. So being really open in that process has been great for me, because the temptation sometimes can be like, oh, I've heard about that brand, it's probably too expensive, or maybe I'm too old for that brand, or they don't have any physical stores, so I don't know if I would risk doing all of the stuff. When you go into help and support, please be willing to look at different ways of being supported. And as soon as you open yourself up, and sometimes that's just saying, I am open to help. I am open to the support that I may need in whatever way it may choose to come to me. I love saying affirmations like that, because the number of times when I say that and when I start to look outside of myself, it might be a mum on the school run, like, wearing a fantastic dress, and I might be like, oh, where's that dress from? It's great. And they might say, well, I got it from Zara or wherever. And it actually comes in 5 other colours. Oh, brilliant. And then you go on a website and then you suddenly might look at this dress, etc. So being in that process of being prepared to be inspired. The final thing that I want to say is to be aware of your habits and behaviors. When we are making change, when we are moving forward, it can be so easy to do the things that you've always done in exactly the way that has happened. And that's because our brain likes that routine. It likes that familiarity. And that's great. But when we want to mix it up, when we want to do something different, it's really important that, again, we're open to checking in and analysing and seeing what is going on for us. Then what you can do is you can link it as a full circle. So you then might say, if the habits and the behaviours feel a bit challenging, or you don't quite want to look at them, or there's something else going on, you go back to the beginning. So how do I want to feel? And then suddenly, once you know how you want to feel and why it's important to you, and then you go through the whole process again, that might help to shift your habits and your behaviors and really start to get back on the train and start moving forward again. I really hope this very relaxing, well, not relaxing, but, fairly casual example that's not necessarily related to business has helped. I would love to know what you're working on. What is the second half of this year all about for you? I am welcoming people into my pick and mix sessions. So if you want to find out more, do let me know. There are lots of different options. So go over to my website, nikkiraby.com/sessions. If you don't know what you want, but you know that you need some help, you can email me, hello@nikkiraby.com. I also now have a link on my website to free 15-minute sessions. So once again, if you just want to have a chat and let me know what you want to be doing and where you want to be going next, I would love to hear from you. As always, I do my sessions online, or I am a member of the Soho House group, so I'm always out and about in London town. So if you prefer something more face-to-face, let's do that. All right, my washing machine is about to go wild, so I will say goodbye for now, and I'll see you tomorrow.